Keeping you health aware, March is Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. And today we are joined by Dr. Michelle Yetman, a child clinical psychologist at LSU Health Shreveport, to talk more about how we can better understand and support children with developmental disabilities. So Dr. Yetman, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the basics. What are some developmental disabilities that people need to be aware of?
So developmental disability is a general term, and it refers to individuals who have not met their developmental milestones. Typically, it's diagnosed in early childhood, like from birth to 7. Some common examples would be motor difficulties, like with cerebral palsy, social emotional difficulties, like with autism or ADHD, cognitive difficulties, like intellectual disability. So it's a general term, but it describes individuals who have trouble meeting those milestones.
How common are these conditions?
Actually, developmental disabilities are very common. Centers for Disease Control estimate 1 in 6 children have some type of developmental delay, so it really speaks to how common it is and the importance of identifying it early.
And you mentioned in diagnosis, you're looking at birth to usually about the age 7. So what are some early signs that parents should be on the watch out for, or maybe some red flags?
Sure. So the red flags are not meeting those developmental milestones, like not walking at least by 18 months, or not developing single words around a year, year and a half. The good news is, if you go regularly to your well baby visits, the pediatrician screens for those, but parents can also monitor their child's development, screen for it. There's a lot of apps, CDC website, so they can track their child's development and make sure everything's unfolding as we would like it to be.
Okay, that's good. And you mentioned, there are some typical milestones, but sometimes we all know that each child kind of hits those milestones at a different rate.
Right, but there are general guidelines to which it's a red flag if your child has not started doing these things by this age, and that would be a sign that maybe your child needs to be referred for early intervention, get some support, and see if we can close that gap.
Okay, I was going to ask, what's the first step if parents see these signs and say, what do I do?
So the first step is usually talk with your pediatrician. They should be screening milestones, but at any point you can contact your physician if you're concerned about your child's development. A lot of times they can refer for early intervention services. So we have something called Early Steps of Louisiana, which works for children birth to 3. Starting at 3, you can receive intervention through the school system if you have an identified delay, as well as there's private services in the community like occupational therapy, speech therapy, behavioral therapy to help children catch up or reach their potential, whatever their potential is.
So there's a ton of different options for families to be able to utilize.
Right, absolutely. Just tracking it, identifying it early, and making sure your child gets the support. We want every child to reach their potential, whatever potential that means for them. So early intervention and services can help that.
Absolutely, and especially as they gear up to go to school. So they might have to have some adjustments made. Let's talk about resources and educators that can help out.
Sure, the school is critical for helping a child with developmental disabilities reach their potential. So children might be learning, but they might be learning at a slower rate than their peers or need help in certain areas. So a lot of times these children will qualify for something called an IEP, an individualized education plan, where it just ensures that they're getting the support services they need in school so that, again, they can work and learn alongside their peers and reach their potential.
Wonderful. So there's lots of resources out there from the starts to all the way to school.
Exactly, all the way through. Now, some disabilities will continue lifelong, but some are just resolve in childhood, like speech delays. And so we don't know necessarily, but we do want to make sure you're receiving maximum intervention to reach your potential.
Fantastic. Well, Dr. Yetman, thank you so much for joining us today and educating us. We've learned a lot.
Thank you so much for having me and raising awareness.
Thank you. Now, for more information about developmental disabilities, you can use the contact information there on your screen or go to our website, ksla.com.